Have you ever been physically present in your life, but mentally trapped somewhere else? You're sitting at dinner, but your mind's replaying something someone said 3 days ago. You're trying to pray and your mind's rehearsing worst case scenarios. Maybe you're driving to work and your mind will not stop talking. Fix this, prepare for that. What if this happens? Why did they say that? And then you wonder why you are exhausted. This episode is for the person who looks functional on the outside, but feels mentally exhausted on the inside. You love God, you're trying to do the right things, you show up for people, you handle responsibility, you encourage people, but privately your mind feels loud. This is Rewired Mind Restored Life. And I happen to be a master's level counselor and coach and someone who's had to rebuild her life because I burnt it down. I'm not talking to you from theory alone. I'm bringing my counseling insight, neuroscience background, biblical truth into this conversation. And where we're going today is important. We're going to reveal, reset, renew, restore. We're going to get you stuck out of your head. So let's begin. We're going to renew our mind with truth instead of let fear run our lives. We're going to restore practical rhythms, and we are going to go real deep. Stay with me to the end. I hope this blesses you. For a long time, I was staying inside my head, and it felt safer. And then I absolutely, with overthinking and anxiety, blew up my life. But let's get to the core truth. You can't think your way to peace while you're agreeing with fear. You can't live inside your head and spiral. You can't overthink your way into peace. That's just the bottom line. You rehearse how people respond. You build a whole courtroom in your head, maybe. You're both the attorney, the witness, and the judge. And by the end of it, nothing's changed. You're just exhausted. Overthinking gives us an illusion of control, but we need to separate wisdom from rumination. We need to say, what's the right next step? Rumination leads us into paralysis, where wisdom brings clarity. Rumination is fear-led, and fear just is crippling. We have a blind spot and many believers have that. We have loops that we don't want to recognize, and we're obsessing about things, and it keeps us trapped. And that's what I'm seeing with people around me. People say, I just need to have peace and then I'll make change. I'll be obedient when I feel different. But we need to be honest. We need to reset our life. The lie is this: if I think about something long enough, I can control it. And that sounds responsible. It sounds mature. It sounds like planning. Underneath it, though, is fear. And if we go over every possible outcome, we're still not going to change the outcome. If we try to predict every problem, maybe we think we're not going to be blindsided. Maybe we think it'll keep us safe. But hypervigilance is dangerous. I lived in that hyper state of fight or flight my entire life, and it absolutely crushed me. So we no longer have to run from tigers and bears, maybe, but we are always in fight or flight because we have this overthinking going on in our mind, rehearsing worst case scenarios. We're not tired from what's happening necessarily. We're tired from mentally rehearsing. Philippians 4 matters so much. Paul tells us not to be anxious. He's talking about a rhythm. He's talking about pray, petition, giving thanks, having the peace of God guard our heart and minds, not us guarding. Don't give fear a seat at the table all the time. It doesn't deserve it. We need to reset those patterns that are crippling us. We need to stop rehearsing fear and stop practicing surrender. We need to renew our mind. And renewal isn't pretending the problem doesn't exist. It's bringing our thoughts under truth. Corinthians tells us to take every thought captive. That doesn't mean that we won't have negative thoughts. Problems aren't bad. Problems are productive, but it's what we do with them. If the thought is loud, it doesn't make it true. Is this thought from God? Is it profitable and productive for me to keep rehearsing this problem in my head? Renewal is practicing the question, where is this thought leading me? Is it towards peace and obedience or towards fear and control and more confusion? The enemy doesn't want us to be destroyed by just outright rebellious action. Often it's just keeping us caught in our head so we can't step into the life that God has for us. If we keep replaying yesterday, we cannot obey today. If we're obsessed with what people think or what we think they think, it's keeping us trapped and keeping us hidden. It doesn't keep us safe. Your mind shouldn't be a junk drawer where you just keep throwing every accusation and problem and anxiety. Renewal may sound like this: God, you know the outcome. I'm not going to control fear with wisdom. I'm going to take an obedient step. God, teach me how to think in agreement with truth. That's how you begin getting out of your head, not by ignoring your thoughts, by interrupting them, examining them, surrendering them, and replacing them. Let's restore a rhythm of peace. I want to inspire you with this. It's a practice you can take just today. Stop spiraling. Step 1, name it. I'm not, you can just name it. What am I actually thinking? Then it can't own you. Second, breathe. Take one slow breath. Breathe again. Your body needs to know that you're not in danger. Okay? Step 3, ask, what am I trying to control right now? And that cuts through the noise. Am I trying to control someone's opinion, my future? Am I trying to protect myself from rejection? Identify what you're trying to control, and then you can bring a specific thing to God, not vague surrender. Step 4 is return. Return to the next right thing, not 10 things, not your whole life plan, just the next right thing. Send the email with peace. Drink some water, open your Bible, pray, apologize, do one faithful thing. And that's how peace gets rebuilt. Returning to God, returning to truth, not in an imaginary future, not rehearsing lies and loops and fear, just returning to the moment, returning to your body. I was inside my head for so long. I was overthinking. I called it analyzing or planning. And I had lots of reasons for that because I came from a background where I didn't feel safe. So it was always, our brains are predictive making machines, anyways. But if we come from a background where we don't feel stable or safe, we feel vulnerable all the time. We always feel like we're in fight or flight. So we stay stuck in our head, always trying to anticipate the next worst thing. And those thoughts were crippling me. And I just was together on the outside, but just a hot mess inside. And then it finally came out in a bad way. And there's more about that later on. But let's talk about this a little more. What thoughts are you ruminating on each day? They say that most of our thoughts are just repetitive thoughts. We're on autopilot. And if that's what you're playing and replaying and rehearsing in your head, fear-based thoughts, worst case scenarios, we need to get out of that head. Freedom begins when we're honest enough to name what's going on here. I challenge you today, pay attention to the thought you keep returning to, the conversation you keep replaying, the thought you keep rehearsing. What are you trying to control? What accusation you're agreeing with? And ask yourself, is this producing peace, obedience, clarity, or fear, control, and confusion? That answer matters. What's stealing your peace? What are you giving permission to? Interrupt it. Surrender it, replace it, and give that headspace and heart space to God. It's not by trying harder. We're not meant to carry so much. We're not supposed to carry all this fear. Get out of the courtroom of your mind and seek the peace of Christ. Stop being ruled by mental noise. You can be renewed. You can be restored. You're called to walk in peace. If this episode spoke to you, write down the thought that keeps ruling your head. Is this fear, truth, or control? Then surrender it to God. If you're somebody who's holding it together on the outside, but struggling in the inside, I hope this touches you. I encourage you to comment if you agree with what I've shared, or maybe something you don't agree with, something that resonated with you, or something you don't quite understand. I just want you to step into the life that God meant you to live. If you're stuck in your head, peace is not found in controlling every outcome. Peace is found in surrendering your mind back to the one who holds it all. Surrender it to him. If this episode blessed you, I encourage you to like and share it with someone who it might bless, and I'll see you in the next episode.